All right, guys, it's a little bit of a rant video because I feel like I haven't done this in a hot minute, and honestly, I'm just in the mood for it for My Hero Ultra Impact. Okay, so keep in mind, I'm going to talk about the good and the bad of the game. We're going to take a look at some revenue for the game, how the game's doing overall right now in the mobile market. Okay, so to start off with talking about My Hero Ultra Impact, I think the new Getson Climax battle, it's very good. The free-to-play character that was introduced, I think Getson is a very, very solid character, and I have really enjoyed using him. I think a lot of people have, and I think a lot of people are very excited about getting this character to level 100, level 130. He's just a very solid character, and the Climax battle itself was fairly well designed. The new frost mechanic and everything was really great, and I think they've done a very good job with the arts and his kit and the addition of Climax battles in the game. That is the one thing that I'm going to give the developers props for, is they've done a very good job with Climax battles. Okay, additionally, I have to say the art team always killing it. Like, look at this art. The art is so freaking good. They have done a really good job with his art. Like the new Bakugo's art, also really good. Now, on the topic of this Bakugo, he was the most recent general pool release, and honestly, his kit leaves a little bit to be desired because they added this really cool new function called search, where he can search for hiding opponents. However, it's very limited in its scope of uses, and it's hard to keep up the buff to actually be able to use search. So I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make him a little bit better, but he's okay, right? But the art for him, absolutely amazing. Definitely going off the anime design, looks really good. So in general, art team is killing it. To summarize, the effects for some of the characters are decent. Like, a lot of the characters have been really good lately. This one needs a little bit of work, but that's okay. It's all right to have a flop character every now and then. But now let's talk about the content of the game. All right, so level up quests have not been touched since the launch of the game. It's just basically how you get your level up materials. Fine, I can live with that. USJ has literally not been touched at all, and like, all I'm asking for is like something that would be really nice, and this is dumb, is like a level 6 difficulty, a level 7 difficulty, something to challenge ourselves, and you can give us like a memory for it or something. I don't care. You gave us UR memories for level 5, right? Give us a free-to-play memory at a higher difficulty or something like that. Give us a reason to play USJ. Make USJ unending. You can make it like a tower climb, like that never ends if you want, and give hero gems every so many levels, and it gets progressively harder as you go on each stage. Like, that would be so sick, right? Like a progressive tower climb through each of the USJ stages. Like, that makes sense. That would be good, and it would be an addition to the game that keeps the game from getting old and stale. But that's something they just haven't done recently, and that's one of my biggest problems with the game, I'll say it right now, is that we don't have any new content in the game. Forget about even like updating the old USJ, case files, Ultra Arena, VE Tower, any of that stuff. Forget about updating that. I would like to see some new content in the game, even besides updating it, right? But they haven't done that either. So, okay, so I would like to see updates to any of those things that I just talked about, or I would like to see new content in the game, like a boss battle or super battle road like Dokkan Battle has, or something like that. I think that'd be cool. Case files, they have added case files here and there. The case files are okay. It's a way for people on global to finally get SR characters that were only available on JP. But I feel like, I don't know, like the case files just aren't that great. They aren't that difficult. It's not a lot of fun for people that have been playing the game and have actually been working on their characters and stuff like that. So for a new player, case files absolutely amazing because it gives them new free-to-play characters that they can work on, build up, get some free hero gems for building up their basic ability boards, and potentially get a new stronger character than what they already have. So for new players, case files are fine. They're perfect. I actually don't think they really need to be changed, but when it comes to older players, like, there's no case file that's actually difficult for us. So maybe an idea, I guess here's an idea, is we can redo the case file, but like at a harder difficulty, right? That would be something cool to do. So you have the original difficulty for case file, and then you have like an extreme difficulty for case file where you play through all these boss fights again, and they're even more difficult and they're hard to beat, and you actually got to strategize and use your characters effectively. Like, that would be something cool to do to case files, to make it, revamp it, make it a little bit better. There's a lot of easy things they could add into the game to make the game better without actually adding new content, and just go back and revamp some of the old content. Okay, I'll come back to Ultra Arena. I'm gonna skip over to VE Tower. We are supposed to be getting a new VE Tower difficulty, from my understanding. I don't think it's a new stage. I think it's a new difficulty. It's supposed to be a double S difficulty for one of these stages, right? And we had been getting these somewhat frequently for a little bit last year, and then they just stopped, and they didn't say why they stopped. maybe it was too difficult for them to manage. Maybe they don't have a big enough team. I don't know. I imagine it's probably not having a big enough team. We'll talk about that when we get to like the gacha revenue. But like at this point, you know, I would like to see VE towers come back more frequently at the very least, but who knows if that'll happen. Supposedly we're supposed to be getting one this month. We'll see if that actually happens. Hopefully it does. I'm very much looking forward to that if that does happen though. But VE Tower, just give us new VE Towers, give us more double S difficulties, and be more consistent about it. Like, I don't have too many complaints on that other than it just hasn't been there. We need it to come back, essentially. So VE Tower, that's what I need from VE Tower. Climax Battle, perfectly okay. That is the one thing, like I said, they have been doing a great job with, rotating out the Climax Battles, bringing in new Climax Battles. The Climax Battle characters have been very decent as far as free-to-play characters go. So its Climax Battles are perfectly fine. That is the one thing I don't have a complaint about in the game when it comes to content. Now, Ultra Arena, this has been a complaint for a very, very long time for many, many people in the game. And that is that it's just stale. It gets boring, right? And as you can see right now, I am in Hopeful 3, which is not very high because I got tired. I got tired of being up and top and legend, honestly. It's the same teams over and over again, people using the same meta over and over again because there is no pick or ban or anything like that. And at this point, I know it's a gacha game. I know not everybody's going to have every character, but there's enough of like every character in the game to like do a pick and ban. Like you can't use Deku this week, or you can't use Bakugo this week, or you can't use red characters this week, or something like that, right? You could do a pick and ban system, or if you don't want to do that in the actual Ultra Arena, you could create a separate, and I've said this a couple of times, a separate event arena where people can go and use different characters. Like you have to use UA High Class A characters this week. That would be cool. Or you have to use Class B characters this week in the event arena, something like that, right? Or only SRs this week in the event arena. I think Black Clover does a really good job with the event arena. I know some people aren't the biggest fans, some people are, but I think that's something that would drastically help this particular game, is having an event arena on the side. Another option, and there's a lot of controversy about this, there always has been since this game came out, another option, I'm not saying get rid of this arena here necessarily, but another option is to potentially make real-time PvP, where people can go against each other. That would be pretty cool for people to be able to try. That would take a lot of work, I will admit. That one is probably the most unrealistic thing I could ask for, because that'd be completely changing the way the game works, right? So they probably will never do that. But I think an event arena would be a solid place to start, or a pick and ban system or something like that, like just on a rotating schedule. If you ever see my Fairy Tail Fierce Fight videos, they have the arena matches on a rotating schedule where some characters are recommended for the week and some characters are banned for the week. And the banned characters you can't use, but if you use the recommended characters, you don't have to use them. But if you use the recommended characters, you get more rewards. Okay, so like you get more, in this case, it would be like Ultra Arena medals if you use those recommended characters and actually win your battles. That would be cool. So like using the recommended characters doesn't make your character stronger in battle, but it gives you more rewards if you use those recommended characters. That would be a very easy way to get people to use different characters in Ultra Arena and make Ultra Arena fun again, and make me actually want to be up towards the top ranks, where it's not just the same stale old meta over and over and over again. But Ultra Arena just drastically needs something, guys. I don't know exactly what it is. If you have other suggestions, you know, drop them down in the comments. If you have suggestions for USJ or case files or any of these other things, you know, drop it down in the comments. But they did recently put out a survey, and I just wanted to weigh in on this because they asked like us to give information right there, right, about the game. And they're like, how do you feel about the game? You know, how do you feel about these different types of content and stuff like that? Are you satisfied? And I said basically in the survey, no, I'm not satisfied with anything but Climax Battle. Climax Battle, I said, yeah. Okay. And they're like, what would you like more from us? And I said communication. Like literally my number one thing in the survey, and if you guys do the survey, I think it should be this too, is communication from the devs in any way, shape, or form to the global side of the game. Okay, because they have completely ignored the global side of the game, and because the devs have completely ignored the global side of the game, we have had cheaters in Club Festival that got the rewards, didn't get banned, and then the people who actually play the game and enjoy the game didn't get the proper rewards for Club Festival. And they also haven't added any content that we wanted. They haven't even like commented on the cheaters. Like we asked like what's going on and they didn't even give us a response. Like they just don't care. They do not care about the global side of the game. That is my number one like cry for help, is like we need communication in some way, shape, or aspect. They could reach out to me as a content creator. I'd be more than happy to spread the news to you guys. They could reach out to the Discord community. They could just put out a short little video saying, we heard your feedback. This is the things we're going to do. I don't care how they do it. I literally don't care, but they need to reach out in some way, shape, or form and say, hey, we're listening to the things you guys actually put on these surveys. We're listening to when you reach out to us on Twitter or X, we're listening, and here's what we're going to do about it. Okay. Anything would be great, okay? Because as of right now, I feel like this game has lost a very significant amount of players on the global side, simply because they do not listen to their player base. And that is it. That is the only reason they've lost players, because they don't listen to us. But if you don't believe me, let me show you. All right, so we are here on Sensor Tower, and Sensor Tower is the place to look for all the Bandai Namco games and how much they profited and how well they're doing right now as of last month, right? So August, at the time of recording this, it is September. So like last month, Dragon Ball Legends had 200,000 downloads. They made 5 million in revenue. That's absolutely insane. Dokkan Battle had 100,000 downloads, made 15 million in revenue. It was, worldwide celebration and everything going on for Dokkan. Dokkan's had a lot going on recently with the anniversary and then the worldwide celebration afterwards and everything. Dokkan's doing great. Dokkan is just, it's never going to end. But yeah, so if we scroll down here, eventually we will find My Hero. You have two different versions. You have the JP version, which is right here. This is currently ranked number 11 for Bandai Namco's games in the mobile market. So that's not bad. It's doing a lot better than some of the other games, right? The JP side of the game actually doing okay. 30,000 downloads, $400,000 just on the JP side. So JP's doing okay. I don't know how, because I feel like JP players get equally upset about not having content, but I guess they're getting over it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If you're a JP player or you happen to watch this video or know anything, explain to me how this has happened, because I feel like they would have the same frustrations we have, but I don't know. I could be wrong. So, yeah, JP's doing very decent. All right. But then if we go down a little bit more, it's not too far down, right? JP's right here, Global's right here. But in spot number 14, from spot number 11 to spot number 14, we have the global version of the game with 10,000 less downloads, right? 20,000 downloads. And then only 80K versus the 400K that JP is making. 80K is not great at all. Now, it's not in shutdown territory. Shutdown territory is like 5,000 or less. All right, that would be shutdown territory for most Bandai Namco games. It might be a little bit higher. It might be like 15,000 is shutdown territory, 15 to 20,000. But 80,000 is okay. I know that personally a lot of whales, people who spent money on My Hero Ultra Impact, recently got a bad taste in their mouth with the club festival and them not removing the hackers and the cheaters, right? And just giving those hackers and cheaters rewards. And so they have decided to stop spending as much money on the game. And when you lose your whales, you're losing a good amount of your market. Now, granted, we have had a lot of people, I feel like, with the new season of the anime come in and start playing the game, and they have made up for that a little bit in spending the money. But I think this number could be so much higher than 80,000. Like, I feel like 80,000 is really low compared to what it could be if they just communicated with us. That's it. Like, they don't necessarily, I understand if you have a small dev team, you can't do everything, right? Communicate that. Let us know, hey, we got 3 people working on this, so we'll try to get the things you want. It may take some time, but we're working on it. As of this year, 2024, they have given us no new content besides the Getson Climax Battle. That is it, okay? Besides that, they gave us subpar anniversary units with the steampunk characters. They're not even as good as the celebration units who came before them. So, I mean, I feel like they've let us down a lot of ways this year, and I'm worried. I'm worried about the game. I think it'll be fine, but I feel like the devs are starting to neglect it, and I hope that's not the case. I really hope they're working on something big behind the scenes. I'm just naive. I don't know what's going on. And maybe something big will release later this year or at the beginning of next year. But so far, we've made it 9 months through the year, and here we are still with only one new climax battle, and maybe getting a VE tower to return, and maybe another club festival coming up, right? So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But I really all I've ever wanted is for this game to do well. And it seems like the devs just don't care. I don't know what's going on. Or maybe the devs do care. Maybe the people above them don't care and they're like, it's a dead game, we're gonna move you to a different project. I don't know. I don't think it's a dead game yet. I don't think anyone really thinks it's a dead game yet that still plays it. I think it is deteriorating faster than it should because they're just not communicating and they're not helping the game. Like, there's so much more they could be doing. But I think the game is still doing all right. I think the new climax battle is something that was much needed. I think the new characters have been fire. Like, the new characters have been really good releases. They looked pretty good with the exception of Bakugo, right? The new Summer Mirko was really cool. A lot of people were excited about that. The Music Festival Kaminari was really sick. Like, really good characters. The characters are the main form of content in the game, but just give us a place to use the characters. That's what I need. I need content. I've been playing this game for, 2.5, 3 years. I need a place to take and test my characters. I have so many characters. I have all the URs for the most part, and I only use like 5 or 6 of them because that's just the way the game goes. If I was able to use more of them in more forms of content, I would enjoy the game a lot more. That's just me. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this down in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and more importantly, if you haven't done the survey yet, make sure you do that survey as well. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.